Good evening, everyone. I'm Innocent Murthy. I'm part of IBM Smarter Planet business. Uh, you must be surprised without even seeing the first slide. You are actually seeing a live dashboard. Uh, Sir talked about Facebook and Twitter and all those things. What here you are seeing on your screens is I'm doing a monitoring of two different parameters. They talked about the good part of it. I'm going to talk about the little bit bad part of it, the social media monitoring. So what I've done is I've taken two different criteria. One is e-India. If you see this one, this portion, this is e-India. So there are who's are actually tweeting across the globe on e-India. I can actually see it here. And the second is Balasaheb Thackeray. He's critically unwell. But if you see, and I've actually done two types of combination here. One is Balasaheb Thackeray with the residents, Matoshri. So I've done that combination. So this one is, the top one is, top left is that one. So people who are talking about Balasaheb Thackeray, they're saying Airtel network down in Mumbai, it's because of the authorities trying to control the rumors. Balasaheb Thackeray and Matoshri, these are the two tags, hashtags, and hence it is showing up in my this thing. And the second, if you see a little bit down below, it's only Balasaheb Thackeray. And there is something which somebody is talking, there are some little kids in Mumbai secretly praying for Balasaheb Thackeray's demise to get a school holiday. Okay, so what I'm trying to actually see and tell everyone is social media is good. There's a lot of good work which is going in Facebook, there's a lot of good work which is going in Twitter, but there are enough number of people who are instigating the wrong emotions. For example, I read in the morning, there was one, in fact, the most intelligent of the and most dignified people also make a lot of mistakes on the social media. Digvijay Singh today actually tweeted he is apologetic and he on the demise of Balasaheb Thackeray. He had to correct it, and he said, "Okay, I'm safely praying for his recovery." So by that time, the entire tweet has gone, and imagine how many people would have reacted. So that's the power of social media. So it's something which needs to be managed, controlled. From a police standpoint, it's something which is a very important thing, and that's what I'm going to talk about in today's session. Yeah, so my session is all about social media monitoring and analytics, good or bad. People love to have freedom of speech, but yes, there needs to be some kind of control over our emotions or activities. And that's where the police and the law enforcement come into the picture. They want to manage the social media. I'm just looking at a few more charts. So this is something, and this is from my Facebook account. So I've not gone into anybody's else. In my Facebook account, someone actually said Mecca is something which is actually a Shiv temple area. No fact, nothing. He writes something, and what I have hidden and which will not be shown here, 50,000 likes on that. So 50,000 people think it's either correct, incorrect, whatever, because there's no button in Facebook called dislike. It's only like. So that means 50,000 people got influenced by a factually incorrect data. Second, Assam riots. Everyone knows how the country went through during this Northeast riots and people fled from these places. I just did a YouTube search, 766 videos only on riots. What are we doing? We are actually trying to post videos to instigate more violence. So anti-Assam riot protest turns violent in Mumbai. Okay, so there's a video. Now again I did a tweet. Now if you see the second tweet, he's talking about, the gentleman is not talking about Assam riots. The very interesting thing, he's talking about Tripura riots, which never happened. So that's the interesting part of it. So that means someone is trying to actually instigate some kind of a message here. There is a Wikipedia page on Assam riots. Can you beat that? So we have gone beyond social media, but Wikipedia, which is actually a information location where you actually see most of the things, they have actually a page dedicated to 2012 Assam riots. And you know the recent anti-Islam video. Al Jazeera in their main page, and I'm not talking about social media, I'm talking about a media house now. They also keep those videos along on their pages. So what is this social intelligence environment? Actually, so what is the law enforcement worldwide trying to do? They are actually trying to anonymously scrap the social media feeds. So that means anonymously means definitely they are not going to, so it's an offensive they are launching on based on particular information about a terrorist information, drug peddling, or pornography or child molestation. They actually scrap that information and look at that media feed. They also look at the news media because there's a lot of news which is spread and which actually creates a lot of enthusiasm, anxiety, and reciprocation. So that's what they want to monitor the media also. So broadcast media today plays a huge role in instigating a lot of emotions. And the finally is a source of repository. So there will be tons of other offline repositories which will give you that kind of information, books and everything. Another case study. I thought about doing a technical presentation on products and everything. Then I thought, let's not do it. I'll only stick to the presentation. Very little to do with technology and very little to do with the IBM stuff. But I thought we need to look at something which is totally different, social media monitoring. Now, this is a case study, very interesting case study. And this I was... there was one Twitter guy who actually writing about a helicopter hovering around Abbottabad at 1 a.m. It's a rare event. He tweets, okay, and the other Twitter writes, "Go away helicopter before I take out my giant sweater." Nothing wrong in this tweet, but imagine what happened after this tweet. The 6th helicopter which was taking off, it was shot. The US helicopter which was the 6th one, it was shot immediately after this tweet message. That means people are going through the tweets, monitoring, managing, who are not the right elements in this business. So the tweets which are normal tweets, they're also looked at, and this is the kind of information, and this kind of a secret operation information was tweeted, and the result is a helicopter disaster. Egypt, everyone knows about this revolution, and coincidentally I was there in that place, and I seen it myself very closely, up front and close. So this is very close to my heart. This is a gentleman who actually is known to be the major influencer in this event. That means he has tweeted, he has actually written and stuff like that. So what we did is we did find out what various patterns, analysis and all those things. We tried to find out whether is he the same guy, is it the only guy, or is there someone else also? So we found out that he's got about 86,000 odd Twitter followers. Okay, reactions generated is whenever he tweets, how many people actually react, respond, reply, retweet, stuff like that. So for reaction generated is 3,291, which is approximately per 1,000 followers, there are 38 reactions. So it's a good enough, because for example, if I send 100 tweets, I think probably I'll get one retweet or even a reply. But we found out another guy who's got only 6,900 followers, but the number of reactions generated is 1,281. So his reactions per 1,000 followers is 186, much higher. So although Wael Ghonim, who was known to be the influencer in this entire Egypt revolution, his mass following or influence was much lower than the other person. So it's not necessary that number of followers is equivalent to the number of reactions. So a lesser number of followers can actually generate more number of reaction, and hence there is a totally different type of impact. So therefore, it's not always, you don't need to look at the number of followers and reaction. Now if I look at the same kind of Twitter following, Justin Bieber, so he's got world's largest 7.4 million, reactions generated on 2.94, so hence he's not at all a mass influencer. Okay, he's 0.04. So on tweet profile, that means if he goes into a mass Arab revolution kind of a stuff, he's nowhere there. So that's something like this helps the law enforcement to identify the person who's creating the nuance or who's actually doing the right work. So it can be either dark side of it or it's a bright spot. So when we also did a sentiment analysis when Mr. Anna Hazare was actually having his fast. So there was a lot of positivity, there was a little bit of negativity and all those things. But I'm saying we can always find out who's actually sending the wrong tweets or spreading the wrong message and who's spreading the right message. So a little bit of Gyan slide. So what we need to do in the social intelligence part of it is definitely a planning and direction. You cannot do any project, forget about social media, but any of the projects, there has to be a planning. You need to know what policy you want to imply and what do you want to achieve out of that entire object. Then you need to have the collection. So you just don't need the open source intelligence, which is the Facebook part of it. You need also the geographical information. The one which I showed, the dashboard, I couldn't show the other one because the Google Earth link was not running on my laptop. So I can actually do a geospatial linkage. I can tell you that the tweet person who has actually generated the tweet about whatever wrong or right, where is he located? So it can actually show you on the Google map that this guy, this ID is generated from this place. So I know from which location he's doing it. And the second part of it, so if he is actually generating multiple wrong messages, enforcement can take decision on going and catching him. So or doing whatever is under the legal premises. Processing exploration, so this is the analysis and then analysis and protection. So these are the 5 stages we need to follow in any intelligence cycle. Breaking up into further or consolidating further, there are only 3 things, what we call as a MAD, monitor, analyze and disseminate. So monitor I've shown you as a dashboard, so that's a monitoring. So there's an analysis, so there are tools which can help you analyze the data, bring down the right information, and finally is the dissemination. So it's not that what Mr. Garg was talking about, dissemination of that information. After I know that there's going to be a traffic problem at a location A because of a riot, I need to disseminate that information to various people so that they don't take that route. They avoid that location or they take a detour. So that's the very important information. Or the center sends the information to state saying that there's going to be an issue because there are a number of people who are instigating emotions in your state with respect to XYZ. So that's the information dissemination. So I said I'll not talk about IBM, but there's one slide I have to keep because they pay my salary. So what we do is we do this entire project, the social media monitoring and analytics, by 3 products, which is COPLink. Most of the states in US run on COPLink. It's an integration tool which collects data from various disparate databases and gives you one single view of any person, crime, criminal, and stuff like that. Then there's a social patterns and trend analysis solution based on Cognos. It tells you, gives you an sentiment analysis in which whether it's good or bad, it's give you that kind of a view. And then there is a predictive analytics which you do. So for example, some of the police departments use our tools to predict if there is a rain going to happen and the street lights are dark, there are about 5 cars parked in that area, what is the probability of a carjacking in that region? So that's what they actually know in advance, hence they deploy additional police forces in that region. So that's a Memphis Police Department. If you go to YouTube, put Memphis Police Department as a tag, you will get that video. It's a live video which runs and shows that how we are doing the analytics running there. This is my last slide. The 4 things that very important. I see a lot of government departments want to do social media work, but social media analytics is not advertising. Please don't engage normal commercial social media advertising firms who are actually brilliant in their creatives, but they are not supposed to be the law enforcement analytics people. So they don't understand the mission behind it, they only know the beauty of how to do it. The second is use a system that complies with the policies, because there's always offensive and there's always a defensive. So you need to see where is the thin line, and we should go by the legal structures. Third is all of this information gathering and all those things which is done by the police is not usable if they don't save it and create in a case file which is relevant, which can be submitted in the court of law for prosecution. So there needs to be a tool which actually does this entire case filing. So that is very required. And you need to have an integrated system. You cannot actually have only a Facebook and try to see a Facebook. Imagine 9,000 posts every day. Even if there are 2 people sitting and looking at 9,000 images or posts, I'm sure they are going to miss about 100 or 200 of them. And what if those 100 and 200, one of them is about a bag which is left unidentified on that street for more than 2 hours, and there's a bomb blast after that. So you cannot rely only on the human part of it. You need to actually integrate the human intelligence, geographical intelligence, as well as the social media intelligence, and I did not write the signals intelligence also. And that's it. Thanks for the time. Please visit our booth. We have actually set up the live demos of the same at our booth also. Thank you so much.